Have you ever wondered why certain pains just don't go away? Why you keep repeating the same patterns in relationships, choices, and reactions, even when you know they hurt you? Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." Today, we're going to dive deep into one of the most profound wounds of the human soul, the mother wound. This silent pain shapes your self-image, influences your bonds, and creates a constant feeling of emptiness or inadequacy. If this message already resonates with something inside you, subscribe to the channel now and come join our members area, where you'll find powerful practices, meditations, and experiences to help you heal, integrate, and transform this wound. Because yes, it is possible to break free and live with more lightness, love, and awareness. The mother wound is one of the most powerful and unconscious archetypes that live within the human psyche. Carl Jung understood the mother not only as the woman who gave us life, but as a universal archetype, an ancestral image rooted in the collective unconscious that deeply influences our emotional and spiritual development. The mother represents nourishment, protection, and care, but also control, possessiveness, and absence. When this relationship is experienced in an imbalanced way, it can leave an emotional imprint that echoes throughout our lives. From our earliest years, the way we are seen, embraced, or rejected by the maternal figure shapes our identity. We become who we are through relational mirrors. If love was given conditionally, only when we pleased, obeyed, or met expectations, we grow up believing that we must be something to deserve love. This creates a deep disconnection from our true self because we learn to adapt, to shapeshift, to please, and forget who we truly are. Jung called this a misalignment with the self, a loss of connection to our most authentic center. The mother archetype has two faces, the nurturing mother and the dark mother. The nurturing mother protects, welcomes, and fosters growth and autonomy. The dark mother suffocates, criticizes, manipulates, or emotionally abandons. This polarity can manifest literally in the relationship with our biological mother, or symbolically through internalized patterns we carry into adulthood. Often, even when our physical mother is no longer present, we still hear her voice within us. The one that judges, demands, or whispers, "You're not good enough." That is the echo of the dark mother. The impacts of this wound are deep and usually unconscious. It can lead to low self-esteem, fear of abandonment, emotional dependence, difficulty setting boundaries, and even a chronic sense of emptiness. Many adults unknowingly repeat cycles of pain in their relationships, seeking in their partners what they did not receive from their mother: care, validation, presence. But no external relationship can fill what is missing inside. Only by becoming aware of this dynamic can true healing begin. Reflecting on this wound is not about blaming the mother, it's about setting ourselves free. Most mothers also carried their own unhealed wounds, often acting unconsciously and repeating inherited patterns. Jung invites us to look at these wounds not with blame, but with awareness and compassion. When we recognize how this energy shaped us, we open the door to reconnect with our center, with our true self. And it is from this place that real healing begins. A healing that doesn't depend on anyone else, but on our inner commitment to truth. Many times, we don't realize we're living from an emotional wound, we just feel that something isn't right. The mother wound can show up in subtle yet persistent ways. You may find yourself repeating painful relationship patterns, feeling inadequate even after accomplishments, or constantly seeking the approval of authority figures. These signs are invitations from the unconscious, signaling that something within you needs to be acknowledged, understood, and healed. One of the most common symptoms of this wound is the repetition of self-sabotaging relationships. You may feel drawn to emotionally unavailable, controlling, or critical partners, unknowingly mirroring aspects of your early relationship with the maternal figure. Often, there's an unconscious desire to fix what wasn't possible in childhood, searching in others for the love and acceptance that were missing. This painful cycle, while difficult, is also a portal. It reveals exactly where the wound lies. Another sign is the relentless need for approval. Do you feel like you constantly have to prove your worth? Do you struggle to relax, make mistakes, or simply be? This behavior often stems from a childhood where love was conditional, where recognition came only when you met expectations. The need to be perfect or strong can be a survival mechanism formed in response to a fragile emotional foundation. Irrational guilt and a constant fear of abandonment are also frequent markers. You may feel guilty just for saying no, for choosing yourself, or for setting boundaries. At the same time, there may be a deep fear of being rejected, excluded, or unloved. These feelings often have no clear cause in adult life because their roots lie in early experiences where our sense of worth was tied to external acceptance. The mother wound distorts our perception of love and self-worth. Lastly, extreme self-demand and an overly critical inner voice are powerful indicators. That inner voice that says, "You're not doing enough. You should be better. No one will love you like this." That voice often isn't truly yours. It's a psychic inheritance, an internalization of the mother figure or her absence. Recognizing this voice is an essential step toward freedom. Once you hear it more consciously, you can begin to replace it with a more loving, compassionate voice, your true essence finally emerging. Carl Jung invites us to a deeply transformative healing process, which he called individuation. This central concept in his psychology is, at its core, the journey back to our true self, where the totality of who we are integrates. To heal the mother wound, we need to understand that it's not just a simple lack or gap, but a starting point for our inner growth. The wound manifests to show us where we are disconnected from our essence, and by recognizing and integrating it, we can move toward a fuller, more conscious life. Individuation involves an encounter with our shadow, the aspect of ourselves that we reject or hide to please others or meet external expectations. In the case of the mother wound, this shadow is often tied to parts of ourselves we can't accept, like our vulnerability, our weaknesses, or unmet needs from childhood. What Jung teaches us is that by rejecting or ignoring these parts, we are perpetuating our suffering. Healing the mother wound involves facing the shadow, understanding its messages, and bringing it into the light, allowing us to integrate our wholeness. Jung also speaks about reconnecting with the inner feminine, which he calls the anima, and how this reconnection is essential for healing the mother wound. The anima is the internal representation of the feminine within all of us, regardless of gender. When we are disconnected from this feminine energy, which is nurturing, creative, and supportive, the mother wound becomes even more pronounced. Healing this wound means learning to listen to the voice of the feminine within us, which teaches us to care for ourselves, set healthy boundaries, and find a source of love and acceptance that doesn't depend on the outside world. The healing process, for Jung, is not about denying the pain, but transforming it into consciousness. By looking at our pain with awareness, it stops being an unbearable burden and becomes a source of learning. Suffering, when illuminated by consciousness, transforms into wisdom. Therefore, by recognizing and accepting the mother wound, we can transmute the pain into something that strengthens us, teaches us to love ourselves more deeply, and brings us genuine inner peace. This is one of the greatest gifts that individuation offers. Finally, Jung teaches us that the healing process is continuous. Healing the mother wound is not a journey with a final endpoint, but an ongoing path of growth. As we progress in our individuation process, the wound transforms, but there will always be moments when it challenges us to revisit our deep-rooted patterns and beliefs. The goal is not to rid ourselves of the pain, but to learn to dance with it, finding strength, peace, and authenticity at every stage of the journey. Emotional liberation begins with inner silence and the observation of dreams. The first step to healing the mother wound is learning to silence both external and internal noise. In the modern world, we are constantly surrounded by distractions that pull us away from our essence. Inner silence allows us to connect with what is deeply hidden in our psyche. Jung believed that dreams are one of the primary forms of communication from the unconscious, offering powerful insights into our emotional wounds and repressed patterns. By dedicating time to observe and reflect on our dreams, we can access parts of ourselves that need healing. Another essential practice is the inner dialogue with the maternal image, also known as active imagination. This technique, developed by Jung, involves visualizing the maternal figure symbolically and engaging in an inner dialogue. By doing so, We can perceive what this image represents in our lives, whether as a protective or controlling mother, nurturing or absent. The goal is not to replace the real maternal figure, but to create a safe space within ourselves to restructure our relationship with maternal energy. This dialogue can reveal both the aspects of unconditional love that we need to integrate and the harmful dynamics we need to release. Symbolic rituals of liberation are also powerful in healing the mother wound. Jung believed that symbols and rituals have the power to connect us with the collective unconscious and facilitate inner transformation. Creating rituals that represent the release of old emotional patterns, such as writing a letter to the mother, real or symbolic, performing a forgiveness ceremony, or even creating a sacred space for self-care, can be an effective way to release repressed emotions. These rituals help us materialize the intention for healing and transformation. Reprogramming our relationship with love, boundaries, and self-care is also fundamental to emotional liberation. The mother wound often prevents us from setting healthy boundaries and practicing self-care. Many times, due to childhood experiences, we internalize the idea that love is conditional or that our emotional needs don't matter. Healing this wound requires reprogramming how we relate to love, learning to love ourselves without external expectations and putting ourselves first. Self-care is not selfish. It is a way to honor our essence and ensure that we are emotionally balanced and ready to live a more authentic life. Finally, the constant practice of self-compassion and acceptance is the key to true emotional liberation. Healing the mother wound doesn't happen overnight. It is an ongoing process that requires patience and deep self-acceptance. Instead of judging yourself for your wounds or behavior patterns, it is essential to treat yourself with compassion. Recognizing that we all carry wounds and that vulnerability is a natural part of the human condition helps us release the pressure to be perfect or strong all the time. Self-compassion allows you to embrace your wholeness, heal the mother wound, and give yourself permission to live a lighter, truer life. Healing the mother wound is giving yourself permission to live a free, conscious, and whole life. As we move towards healing this wound, we are not only addressing an aspect of our past, but we are allowing ourselves to rewrite our story. This process is not easy, but it is profound and transformative. It requires the courage to face shadows and vulnerability, but it also offers us a new perspective on love and on who we truly are. Healing the mother wound frees us to live our truth, without the chains of past expectations and limitations. Do you feel this wound is present in your life? How does it manifest in your choices and relationships? Share in the comments how the mother wound has influenced your journey so far. Recognizing where it shows up is an important step toward healing. We are not alone in this process, and sharing our experiences can be a source of strength and connection. Like the video, if this message touched your soul, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to the channel. If you feel that these words resonated with your life experience, like the video and share it with friends or family who might be going through something similar. Healing happens when we come together in vulnerability and support one another. Don't miss the opportunity to be part of this transformational journey. In our members area, you will find meditations, practices, and experiences to heal deep emotional wounds. The link is in the description. I'll be waiting for you there. If you're ready to deepen your healing journey, our members area is where you can access exclusive resources such as guided meditations, therapeutic practices, and experiences that will help you work more deeply with your emotional wounds and find the path to freedom and authenticity. I invite you to be part of this transformative community